Bulgy, the double-decker bus, was granted another chance to be really useful. He learned the error of his ways and grew to tolerate the railway. There are times, though, where he falls back into old habits and puts others off with his foul mood. The annual Christmas rush is one such time. 2 days before Christmas, Bulgy was crossing the island, picking up and dropping off passengers. His complement of last-minute shoppers disembarked at Titmuss Station as Duck waited at the platform with the passenger train.
This season turns people into gerbils, tripping all over each other just to get the last pair of earrings. Pathetic.
Well, I don't know. I think it's rather moving.
What? How?
At the end of every year, people go through so much trouble to get a nice gift for someone they love. Christmas is a shining example of how far the world has come.
Wrong? It's a shining example of everything wrong with the world. Gluttony, greed, empty platitudes. And besides, it makes life so hard for a tired old bus.
Oh, the fatigue of the season must be too much for him.
Bulgy set off on his route once again. The next day, Bulgy's workload was relentless as ever. When he stopped at Marin Station to catch some rest, he noticed an excited child approaching with his parents.
Bother. Noisy children are the last thing I need.
His father spoke to Bulgy's driver.
We're sorry for the noise. We tried to calm him, but he's just so excited to see his grandparents this Christmas. It's the highlight of his year, isn't it, son?
Never mind. Come on board.
The child sang "One Horse Open Sleigh" as Bulgy cruised down the road. The passengers sang along too, making his journey much lighter. As he approached Kelsthorpe Road, he absent-mindedly hummed along to the carol. Henry was resting in a siding, looking over at Bulgy with a soot-eating grin.
I didn't know you were musically inclined.
No, I wasn't singing. What do you think I am? A recreational vehicle? I've got no time for Christmas codswallop.
I didn't say anything about Christmas.
Henry, no. I'm above such diversions. Besides, I've got timetables to keep. God, nosy engines.
Mind you might be a bit sharp on the higher bits.
Meanwhile, Thomas was waiting at Brendam Docks with a train of flatbeds. Cranky the Crane was carefully loading Thomas's train from a nearby ship.
Cranky, these supplies have to be at Vickerstown this Christmas.
Oh, keep your dome on. I only have to drop this last load.
Well, don't be too steady. You see those clouds?
Yes, they're all I ever see.
Those are snow clouds. And I've got to get moving before I have to use my snowplow.
Oh, that reminds me.
The driver shut off steam and left to retrieve the snowplow along with the fireman. Cranky chuckled as Thomas was fitted with his awkward, uncomfortable plough. After Cranky had finished loading the cargo, Thomas set off on the way to Vickerstown station. The wind picked up, followed by light flurries. Thomas could feel himself going faster.
Driver, what's the rush?
The snow's piling up round us.
It's not that bad.
Not at the moment, but it's sure to get worse, and we've got a ways to go.
Thomas's driver was right. It did get worse. The wind buffeted him fiercely, and he was blinded by the snowdrifts as they brushed against his plough. He couldn't see a thing, so there was nothing he could do, and a large chunk of ice blocked his path. By the time he knew, it was too late. The driver shut off steam at once and climbed down to survey the damage.
Well, I won't have to use my snowplow anymore.
Yes, you will. As long as you're without your plough, we're stuck here.
Fireman jumped down and trudged through the snow to the nearest telephone pole. At Crovan's gate, the phone rang in the station master's office.
So Thomas is stranded on the line in the middle of the storm? I'll inform the signalman.
Since Thomas was blocking the main line, nothing could come in or out. All traffic was halted. Bulgy had a guaranteed connection with Henry at Crovan's gate. He approached with his excited passengers, fighting the urge to sing along. He pulled up and sighed softly, finally getting the chance to relax. The roads had become treacherous. The little child was still singing loudly as he walked up the station stairs, his parents reveling in the wholesomeness. Bulgy couldn't help but smile a tiny grin. The station platform was full of people. The station master came down to deliver the news to the buses.
Thomas is trapped on the line before the station. Henry's stuck where he is. Your passengers will have to find accommodation for the night.
But it's Christmas Eve!
It's unfortunate, but it's the best we can do until Thomas can get moving again.
The boy, who overheard the conversation, began to tear up as his mother consoled him. Bulgy considered.
Well, if there are no engines, I can take the passengers to their next station. It'll get them to Barrow sooner.
Bulgy, are you sure in this weather?
It shan't be a problem with my winter tyres.
Meanwhile, the Fat Controller was in his office enjoying a Belgian ice bun when the telephone rang. The station master filled him in, and he thought it was a great idea.
Bulgy will take the stranded passengers to Vickerstown. I'll send Terence to clear out Thomas from the snow. There's no Christmas without confusion or delay.
Thomas was frozen on the line as snow accumulated all around him. Driver and fireman were huddled in the cab enjoying a cup of hot cocoa. Thomas was just about to give up hope until he heard a familiar motor.
day, Thomas. I suppose it isn't Christmas until one of us gets in a muck. Now, let's get this train on the move.
Yes, let's.
And so it was. Terence pulled in front and charged forward. Thomas followed slowly behind. It got dark by the time they approached Vickerstown. Near the station there was much less snow, so it was safe for Terence to move out of the way as Thomas pulled into the platform with his train of Christmas decorations. After an exhausting trek through the blizzard, Bulgy made it to the car park of Vickerstown station. The boy and his parents thanked Bulgy before going up to the platform to wait for their train. Henry arrived with his coaches, and the boy was on his way to see his grandparents on Christmas Day. Workmen and the porters began unloading the cargo from Thomas's train and furnished the station with lights and festive decorations. Vickerstown was ready for the party. Other engines came, and soon the Fat Controller arrived aboard Duck's brake van. All the engines were together at the platform as the Fat Controller and his assistants stood on Duck's side tanks.
I shall require everyone's attention. These festivities came dangerously close to being cancelled, but I think we've learned today what Christmas truly means. We've learned that compassion comes in all forms, and we can all come together as one. There would surely be no celebration today if Bulgy the Bush didn't take the initiative to save Christmas for us all.
A collective gasp came from the crowd, followed by an excited chorus of cheers and whistles.
Silence!
Boomed the Fat Controller.
I hereby declare these festivities open.
All the engines sang carols into the wee hours. But Bulgy's was perhaps the loudest voice of all.